Hey sports fans, another day, another video, and today we're bringing you something about one of the hottest rookies in recent memory. A record-breaking rookie at that. The former LSU stud set the NFL world on fire back in 2020 and looks to do so for years to come. He may be 21 years old, but he plays like a seasoned veteran, and as the many cornerbacks he embarrassed this year will tell you, he's the real deal. The receiver's name? Well, it's Justin Jefferson. And these are the things you probably already know about the Vikings standout. Today, we're here to talk about the 10 things you probably don't know about the Vikings superstar. But before we get into all things Justin, do me a favor, click that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you can stay up to date on all of our content. All done, perfect. Let's go. Starting off, number 10 on the list, Justin Jefferson was considered a punt, pass, and kick prodigy from a young age. If you thought what Justin Jefferson did to the league during his record-breaking rookie campaign was something, apparently Justin has been a force since the age of 9. He was playing football with his older brothers, which got him a head start on kids his age, and from the sound of it, Justin was torching people on the Pee Wee field long before he was at LSU. But how good was he? Good enough to finish third nationally in punt, pass, and kick. Number 9, Justin Jefferson chose the number 18 because of a former LSU quarterback. What's in a number, though? For some, it's just a number, or even just the number that was available after others were already picked over. Now, for others, there does hold meaning. That especially rings true for Justin Jefferson, who chose the number 18 for former LSU quarterback Matt Mock. Mock led his LSU Tigers to the BCS National Championship after suffering a foot injury in 2002, and it's something that holds meaning for Tiger players. Since Mock's heroics, LSU gave the jersey number to players that they deemed leaders. Former Tiger K'Lavon Chaisson wore 18 for the 2009 championship team that featured he and Justin Jefferson, as well as fellow first-rounders Joe Burrow and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Jefferson admitted that 18 played a role in his decision to wear it for the Vikings and is proud to carry that number over to the NFL. Number 8. Justin Jefferson didn't record a single catch his freshman year at LSU. The Justin Jefferson that you know today, well, he's come a very long way. After appearing in only 2 games as a freshman and recording 0 receptions, Jefferson's only statistical contribution was on a 4-yard carry. Jefferson managed to go from struggling to getting playing time to being LSU's leading receiver the following year by recording 54 catches, 875 yards, and 6 touchdowns. The leap was a monumental one, considering Jefferson went from not being able to get on the field to someone they'd never, ever take off of it. Number 7, Justin Jefferson has 2 brothers that played at LSU. Tiger blood runs through the Jefferson family's veins, as his brother Jordan Jefferson was a 3-year starter at quarterback from 2008 to 2011, and his brother Ricky was a safety from 2013 to 2016. Both of his brothers also made it to the league, although none of their careers came close to the promise that Justin has already shown in his young career. Number 6, Justin Jefferson, he was a 3-star prospect coming out of Destrehan High School. I think that's how you say it. He was viewed as the underdog coming out of that high school. Jefferson was only regarded as the 76th best prospect in this state of Louisiana and the 308th best receiver in the entire nation. Yep. Didn't even crack the top 300. His only offers, other than LSU, were Nicholls State, Tulane, and Northwestern. When he came to LSU, not much was expected of Jefferson, who figured to compete for playing time and do some work on special teams. Jefferson has always been a hard worker, though, and was said to have put in a tremendous amount of training in between his freshman year and his sophomore season, and fought his way into a starting role. The rest, they say, well, the rest is history. Number 5, Jefferson had to pass summer school to be able to play his freshman year. Being accepted into the football program was one thing. Being eligible to play was another. Justin didn't show up to training until August of his freshman year after having to pass summer classes in order to play, and it reportedly came down to the last second. This explains why Jefferson was so far down the depth chart and caught 0 balls during his freshman season with LSU. Number 4, Justin Jefferson started doing the gritty celebration at LSU, and in case you haven't seen it or heard about it, the dance is named after its originator, a high school football player named Allen Gritty Davis, from New Orleans. It's one where Justin shuffles his feet and waves his arms before putting his hands up to his face using his fingers like he's giving himself glasses to look through. The description makes less sense than the video of it, but just know that every time you see Jefferson doing it, he's celebrating a former local high school football player from his home state and paying homage to Louisiana. Jefferson's LSU teammates Jamar Chase and Terrence Marshall also started doing the dance after Jefferson. Number 3, Brandy Moss thinks Jefferson can be one of the Vikings' greats. With all the talk of Justin Jefferson being the best Vikings receiver since Randy Moss, some people thought the first ballot Hall of Famer might have some words to douse the rookie's flames. But when the subject of Justin Jefferson came up to Randy Moss, it was nothing but love from the former Vikings superstar. With a big smile on his face, not only did Randy give Jefferson his endorsement for Rookie of the Year honors, Randy also went on to say that Jefferson will be one of the Viking greats alongside himself, Percy Harvin, and Sammy White. It's notable that Randy didn't mention his former mentor and fellow Hall of Famer Chris Carter, but that's another story. These comments also came before Justin Jefferson broke Randy Moss's rookie record. We're sure that Jefferson has only garnered that much more attention from Moss. Number 2, Justin Jefferson might have been the second best prospect in his 2019 LSU team. Justin Jefferson was on a warpath during his final year at LSU, putting up numbers that solidified him as a first-round pick. His 1,540 receiving yards were good enough for third in the nation, and his 18 touchdowns were second. Amazing numbers by any standard, and when you consider the fact that Justin Jefferson plays in the SEC, where the cornerbacks and defenses are as close to NFL caliber talent as you can get, it puts things into perspective on just how good Justin Jefferson is. The thing is, the guy lined up on the outside, true sophomore and fellow gritty dancer Jamar Chase, had topped his yard and touchdown totals and was the focal point of the offense, often getting teams' number 1 corners and still producing video game-like numbers. Jamar Chase also went on to win the Biletnikoff as the nation's best wide receiver. While Jefferson slid all the way to number 22, many projected Chase as the number 1 wideout and a top 10 pick had he been eligible to come out following his sophomore year at LSU. After Justin's rookie year, it's hard to imagine any of his teammates being better than him, but while they played together, it was definitely Jamar who was the better prospect at the time. And number 1 on the list of 10 things you didn't know about Justin Jefferson, he wants Moss to sign his custom record-breaking cleats. Record while wearing custom cleats with Randy Moss's face on them, as well as the amount of yards Randy had on his shoes. His other shoe had his own image and the amount of yards he had going into the game. Jefferson broke with a request for him to sign them. Jefferson went on to say that it's an honor to break Moss's record since he's a Hall of Famer and so dominant in the league, and being that he's Randy Moss. Jefferson went on to say that if Randy Moss signs his cleats, he will put them in a trophy case. All right, sports fans, that's it for Justin Jefferson and our video. See anything you already knew? Or something you didn't know? Let us know by dropping a line down in the comments, and if you haven't done so already, go ahead, hit that subscribe to get more content like this for your football viewing pleasure. Until next time, sports fans, take care.